The mission for America's Second Harvest of the Big Bend is to provide meals and food for area agencies helping to feed the hungry. But it's a group of men just chilling out that are making a difference. Well, for most people, when you think about Florida, you think about sunshine and palm trees. You don't think about a polar bear club. Well, that's exactly what we've got going on. I'm standing at a freezer at Second Harvest of the Big Bend. We're working in 48-degree temperatures.
The group of guys, we got together and started talking about coming out here and working in the cooler. And Nat Toulon, who is one of our guys, he went online and found some polar bears that he could get. And he said, we'll call ourselves the Polar Bear Club because we're going to be in the freezer and working in the freezer. And it just took off from that.
Twice a week for about 4-hour shifts, these retirees are giving back. They start the morning off at a local breakfast spot to catch up and tell stories. Then it's off to Second Harvest's warehouse, where they'll box up frozen goods for area families. But it's what they did before retiring that makes their service special.
To my right-hand side is Wilson Enfinger.
Wilson was a wound care nurse and retired from Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. John Kessler retired after spending 32 years in financing. Austin Tatum worked as an automotive parts distributor director before calling it quits. And Nat Toulon was a banker and spent 22 years with the state treasury department. He was a first computer network engineer at the state capitol. And Jimbo Harrison, he was a backseat Navy fighter pilot before working and retiring from EDS. All successful and now all giving back.
We love it. We're all very close friends. We have a good time laughing and joking, and it's a good thing there's no camera in here during the day because we get pretty crazy sometimes.
In total, the polar bears will separate and box 800 of these 30-pound boxes of food every week.
It's a very warm, fuzzy feeling for all the work that we do and all the hungry people that we feed. So we're very proud to be here.
Many of the young children without us wouldn't get food. So when we feed them, they get better grades in school and they end up hopefully in better careers in life.
And will hopefully return the service and give back, building better stewards of humanity. Statistically, flying by a plane is one of the safest forms of travel. However, because of recent emergency landings, there are questions mounting about planes, their condition, and how airports handle emergencies.
Typically, the call will come in, the pilot will notify air traffic control. Once they notify air traffic control, they're going to assess the situation, work with the pilot, understand what's going on with that aircraft.
Tallahassee International Airport Interim Aviation Director David Pollard says in a case of an emergency situation, once a call comes in from the pilot, air traffic control picks up a red phone that connects the airport, the air traffic control tower, Tallahassee Police Department, and the aircraft rescue and firefighting crews, putting everyone on alert. Safety, security, and emergency preparedness. It's a major concern for Tallahassee International Airport. In case of a major catastrophe, these vehicles are ready to respond in a matter of minutes.
We've got 3 minutes to get to the midpoint of the furthest runway from the time that air traffic control lifts that phone to get to the midpoint of the runway. So that's practice out here on a regular basis.
The airport operates under a guidance preparedness program. Every year there's either a tabletop exercise with all agencies to go through procedures or a full-scale exercise using volunteers for live practices. All exercises are timed and must meet FAA regulations. The on-site fire staff are the airport's first responders in case of an emergency situation.
They're constantly training, and as they do their training, they're thinking about the different things that can happen in aviation and with aircraft and things that can happen there. So from that standpoint, they're going to be the incident commander.
That training keeps Tallahassee International Airport staff ready for any emergency.
It's a constant effort and continuous improvement. That's our whole philosophy.
It was June 25th of 2017. I was coming home fairly late at night from hanging out with friends in Thomasville. I was right past Pebble Hill Plantation and I overcorrected. The road had been wet because it had been raining all day, and I slid across 4 lanes and also the median, and I hit a tree.
Banged up, Sarah Kelly was rushed to the ER. Her T5 and T6 vertebrae compressed. She broke her C2 and C3 vertebrae in her neck, 8 ribs, and her collarbone during the crash, leaving her paralyzed from the waist down. Kelly would spend the next 2 weeks in ICU trying to get feeling back in her body. while racking up over $100,000 in medical bills. It wasn't until she was transported to Shepherd Center in Atlanta that reality set in.
When I got up to Shepherd is really the first night it hit me what had happened. I was coming off of all the pain meds, the surgery had been done, and I really started to have a panic attack.
Compounding an already tragic situation, Kelly would navigate through the healthcare system with no health insurance. According to an ABC poll, close to 33 million Americans do the same every year.
So many people don't have insurance, and you are one accident, one parking lot, one anything away from, your freedom being taken from you and not having the funding to protect yourself.
Kelly is fortunate enough to have a support team, including family, friends, and local organizations who have helped during her fight. For many, knowing where to turn can make all the difference when tragedy strikes.
Friends and family have been huge. This whole community, honestly, in Tallahassee, for those that have known about it, have been outpouring. It's really been a humbling experience with the Florida Brain and Spine Trust here in Tallahassee and all over Florida. They've actually were able to step in and help with finances when we couldn't make some of those ends meet.
As Kelly continues to deal with the cost of her health care, she's focusing on getting better. Therapy sessions are grueling but necessary. It's all part of getting her back on her feet, trying to find some normalcy again.
She's fighting to get her strength back, fighting to get her legs back, and that fight is something that you see every single day for things that we take for granted.
There's so many things that are uncertain that they still have to tackle before they can let her just be independent. But I know she's ready to get back to work. She's, the hardest working girl that I've met, and she's known for her independence. So I'm just ready for her to get that back.
Future now, we're looking into going back into the retail side of a career, maybe as a merchandiser or a buyer, looking at maybe going back to Florida State in the fall for another degree, and then just continuing on therapy until I can't go anymore.
Filling up at the pump is something we all have to do, so when gas prices take a hike, we notice. But for truckers who have much bigger tanks to fill, they typically are the first to feel the increases in their pocketbooks.
You got $300 and something worth of gas, and that'll last you how long?
Probably about a day.
Glover has been a truck driver for years and has seen his share of fluctuations in fuel prices. As with any other type of delivery transport, distance plays a big role in the overall cost. Because of the sheer volume a semi-truck can carry, they remain a popular choice for hauling products. And when the gas price goes up, these drivers notice right away.
Well, there's one industry watching gas prices closely, and that's the trucking industry. What means $5, $6 a tank for us could mean hundreds of dollars extra for them.
About every 5 cents is about $20 per fill up, or every time I put some fuel in. So by the end of the week, I probably put another $100 worth of fuel in.
Multiply that by 4, and now he's spending an extra $400 a month. Just the slightest increase makes a huge difference in truckers' bottom line.
As truck drivers, we try to find the cheapest diesel prices as we can. And family most important out here, taking care of our family. And if they increase diesel prices, it'll put most of the truckers out of business.
The bigger problem, if an individual trucking company does not increase how much it pays truckers per load, then the trucker is out that extra money. Paying more for the same job will only hurt truckers trying to make ends meet.